The rains have continued on into their fourth week. The river seems to swell every day, higher and higher, tugging at the foundations of my mind and my home. I fear soon I shall just be washed away with it. And an arse gleaming like clarified butter. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. In addition to going a bit stir-crazy due to the weather, we also had to give the cats their flea treatment. We got some catnip, which they seemed to enjoy, at least two of them did. This one's Kizzy, and this one's Bez. They both enjoyed it quite a lot, and both relaxed enough for us to apply the flea treatment to the back of their necks without freaking out. Danny, however, is our ginger cat. Not only did he not care for the catnip initially, when we tried to hold him down and apply the flea treatment to the back of his neck, he freaks the fuck out and decides to climb the chimney. Sometime around this point, I find out that an order has gone missing. The reference number is amid some of the small amount of paperwork that I've got sitting around. I haven't quite managed to get around to yet. I do eventually manage to find it, however, it turns out that the order has been damaged in the post, and the postman didn't leave notification that the parcel had been attempted delivery and all this other shit, which led to some small amount of drinking. Basically, okay. Doing the reviews of the Mindcrack Ultra Hardcore has been fun, but it hasn't been relaxing. And with all different jobs, so I only mentioned a couple of them, but there's a lot of standing things that go on in this house, and it seems like recently I've been the focus of all of them. It's like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Just it only takes a second here, and I started getting heart palpitations, and that wasn't fun. I have to start relaxing more. I have to force myself to relax, or they're going to come back. Yeah, I can't take that risk. So, and I've got a lot of stuff to get done. I found where my limit is, if that makes sense. I found where my limit is, and in some people who, I don't want to generalise, but some people who are younger than me will probably think, hey, you found your limit, that means you can push it. Like, I found my limit. If I was a car, finding my limit would mean, hey, I know the maximum revs I can go to. It would not mean I can stay at those revs all the time. It will mean, I do that, I will blow the engine, and I only have one of those. So I've been trying to relax more. I managed to, now I've got a machine that is basically working. I'm still clearing through the files, all hundreds and hundreds of gigs of stuff. I've got access to my art files again, so I'm trying to get back into doing the artwork. And I've got a web shop I need to be working on. I've got to get advertising done. I've got some space booked in a con book, which I need to get done this month, so I need to get adverts done for that. So I'm sort of crash coursing myself back into relearning Paint Shop Sci and Photoshop, so I can actually get the output I need done in advance. I've realised something about doing YouTube videos if you're going to do them repetitively. I mean, before I was doing them pretty piecemeal, just here and there, as and when they came along. And it's a lot easier to do a video if you're just recording something that you'd be doing anyway. And I do comment on things a lot. I mean, I used to be part of a collection of people who did internet radio news show called Open Mic News. The domain doesn't exist anymore. It's the show died eventually, and decided just let the domain lapse. Still got the files, but you know, fond memories and all that. But we spent a lot of time with that, trying to report on news that wasn't making it to mainstream news. Like there's stuff that you get through Twitter these days. Like, there's a guy in London, he's being thrown out of his home because he found out his landlords had agreed to have a missile station planted on the roof of their apartment complex, and there's going to be soldiers wandering up and down the halls. This is for the Olympics, when they've decided it's such a security threat they need to mount military weapons on civilian buildings. And this is in the middle of London. Where is this in the news? But then again, you can't expect a lot out of the mainstream news in the UK. I mean, I'm not going to go all sort of paranoid and sort of conspiracy nut on you here. We've got things like the D-list in the UK, where if it's not an official, well, it's not legally binding, let's say. It's basically Parliament, the government say, like, we don't want you to report on this. It's not legally binding, but if you do decide to report on this, yeah, you're not going to get invited along to the next press conferences ever. But back to Minecraft, much more important. But it would have been great. I mean, the first couple of series, it was fun. It was so much fun to do, and I did learn a lot. And I know I'm not exactly dressing up nice for this, but it's just as and when I can at the moment. First couple of series, I had a bit of slack time. I could spend the time, say, when it was, how many was it? It was 8 people. That's half an hour each. So that's 4 hours of footage a day, and it's like, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it properly. I don't want to see like, oh, I'm only going to follow this guy here, and if something turns up from someone else, then I'll mention it, and that way it's into popularity contests that way. And I don't want to be the kind of person who only supports one side. If you're doing a whole game, it's about the whole game. It's not about saying like, no, this team is the only one who can possibly do any good here. You really got to look at it in both sides. You really want to give a commentary, and you really want to actually give something to the argument, as opposed to being someone on the sidelines just sitting waving a flag. So I got a bit bothered about that, and so it was okay to do it for those 2. But when season 4B came out, I was like, whoa, there's another season already. I've did this. I was like, okay, I can do these other things I need to do in my life. Once series 4 is out of the way, I can just go in that, and I can take a couple of weeks, and I can however long. Then series 4B was like, okay, I do not have the time to do this. I cannot. I am not going to be able to. I don't have the time. I have stuff to do. You saw the video explaining about the delays on the last one that I did, which is the fence. That's still not been finished. I mean, we've dragged on a little bit more, but there has been so much rain and other things coming up, and I've got orders to place. I mean, I'm self-employed, as I've mentioned before, and I've had a lot of moulding trouble with stuff, because what I do is I make costume components mostly. Biggest seller at the moment is fake animal horns. I keep dodging over there because I've got 2 monitors and I can see both of them. It's a bit distracting. Look at my face. Look at me. Lovely. But I've got horns here that I've been making up. They're for orders, and they've got MCM Expos coming up at the end of the month. So got these are a couple of, they've come out lovely. These ones, I think I'm really very happy with them. The finish on them has come out lovely. I've just got to trim off the wastage off the ends here and drill some holes in them so they're ready to mount up. The guy's going to do it himself. I'm looking forward to seeing. I really hope he sends pictures. So few people actually send pictures of the stuff in actually in use. It's like, oh, I love it. I love what you've sent me. It's fantastic. I'm going to have so much fun with this, but I actually get to see it myself, which is a bit. There's a whole bunch of other orders that are still waiting to be done. So there are a lot of items that need to be done before the end of this month. Well before Expo. And I've had someone else call up and say, like, a package I've delivered to the USA has been damaged in the post, and I've sort of got to do a replacement set of those, because I can't be sure. I mean, I'm waiting for the photos to see if that's actually they're really if it's postal damage or if it's a casting damage. If it's casting damage, it's my fault. I should have made them better. If it's shipping damage, then I've got to try and fuss around with the post office. But international orders, yeah, the local post office will just say it's the American side. The American side will say it's the local side, and you can't get money back for that. I rambled a little bit there, but what I was trying to say was, it's easier to do a series if it's something you're already doing, like webcam stuff. I've got a second half of that coming up soon. That's because I needed webcams. I need webcams to be in the security system here, trying to improve things. We've had a few other little things happen since. So I was already going to be like getting in some cameras and already doing it. So, okay, I'm already going to have the cameras on hand. So why not record it? Why not do a review of it? Make it into content. And that is easy to do. It's because I'm already doing it. And doing the Minecraft series review, I probably want to be commentating on it, but sort of in my head, and if I want to make it a good commentary, I've got to set aside a big chunk of time to dedicate to doing it. And I don't have that size of chunk of time. We've got 12 players this time, so that's 6 hours of footage every 2 days. That's just watching. That's like if I watch one to the end, to the end, to the end, but I don't do that because occasionally you have to say, like, oh, what happened there? You've got to pause, go back. Like, okay, make a note of that. That might not even make it into the final review. It might make it into the notes, but like, okay, no, this came out much better. I'm going to have to, scratch that, mention this, otherwise it would run on for an hour. And you end up just sitting there watching bits over, and you probably got, let's say 25%. So let's say you got 6 hours of raw footage to watch. Then you've got, say, rewatch, making notes. That adds maybe another 2 hours. Maybe let's give it now. Say an hour. Then you've got stuff like taking the coordinates, making the map, making sure that's all tidy, get the layers right, because I'm going to be layering up to show graduated lines and all this. And yeah, that takes let's say an hour. It probably takes more than that in the end, but anyway, the score sheet up, and that's another bit of time. And then you've actually got to sit down and do the video work, and so I was trying to do maybe about half an hour's worth of footage. And then I run through and clear out all the blank air, all the umming and ohing, and the clicks and noises and all this shiz and blank bits of air like that. So that takes another sort of hour, 2 hours. So in all end, and then you've got the encoding time, uploading time, and then it gets into the detailed stuff. Just doing the little bits of just uploading it, make sure the description's all right, making sure everything's linked to, make sure you've got attribution for any music you've used, making sure you've got attribution for any bits of footage, any bits of graphics, and you get the idea. And all in all, it must be taking to do this current series by myself. Series 5 would probably take 9-10 hours, I'd say, of work from me every 2 days, and with deadlines on, it's not happening. It is not happening. I've talked to a few friends who play Minecraft, enjoy watching the videos. Now the idea of, say, maybe watching 2 people each, or maybe 3 people each, doing the notes individually, so do it in parallel, and then just come together at the end of the day and say, like, okay, you have like a round table discussion of what's been going on, any observations everyone else has made. Which would spread the load quite a lot, but then there's an organisational load there. You've got to keep everyone in track. You've still got to send all the details to a central person for doing score sheets and maps and stuff. And of course, if one person cocks up, if someone makes a mistake here, someone makes a mistake there, or someone forgets to take a note about something, it gets called on, and then even then, it's still a fair workload. And while doing the round table style would be a lot easier day to day, setting up in the first place is again going to take more time than I have right now. And I'm upset about that, I really am, but it has been a hectic few weeks. I mean, a lot of stuff's been going down. Basically, YouTube, I am sorry that there's been no more of the ultra hardcore reviews. More content will be on its way, though it's going to be a lot of legacy content. It's going to be stuff I'm already doing, or it's going to be stuff that I've been working on for a very long time. Yeah. If I'm able to actually devote the time to bring up the next series, then I probably will, but don't count on it, because it's going to require quite a bit of setup on my part and quite a dedication of time. because I'm not exactly doing this as a living. I've got other things I need to be doing, and yeah, it's got to come second. But again, it's the way that using YouTube for me is most I'll say convenient, but the way working with YouTube is going to be most convenient for me is documenting things that I'm already sort of doing, rather than making content specifically, and at least until I have more spare time on my hands. But you guys have really helped me see like where I need to pick up things, and where, even if it's just a sense of general video production, there's a lot I can do to still make the videos I do make a little more entertaining, a little bit more personable, rather than just treating them as like cold hard documentary style stuff. So hopefully things will still improve in the long run. I've also been allowed to borrow a friend's Minecraft account. Now, while I don't have the facility to record screen footage at a particularly good quality, I have got something planned there as a show off. I'm hoping I might be able to do at least a couple of little side videos, just messing around, test my ideas that I've previously mentioned regarding some tactics for the ultra hardcore style series. So hopefully we can look forward to that at least. Okay, I'm going to cut this short now because I've been recording for quite a long time and I'm going to have to hell of a lot of cutting up on this. Thank you and good night.